Hi, I'm Judy Hammel. I'm an Assistant Scoutmaster for Troop 870 in Newtown, Connecticut. But I've also been a Near East archaeologist and traveled through Egypt, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia. But you know, not all archaeologists work on land. Some work underwater, typically using scuba gear. They work on shipwrecks or land sites that have been either flooded or sunken, or really anywhere that artifacts end up in the water. I've worked on some 1,000-year-old Byzantine shipwrecks off the coast of Turkey, some Spanish colonial shipwrecks down in the Keys, and American Civil War shipwrecks in the Gulf of Mexico. I've even gone diving with crocodiles and sharks, but not at the same time, and that's another story. Some of the tools we use are the same as on land. To locate the site, we still need a compass and maps, or for underwater, most likely nautical charts, field notebooks to record our work, and lots of books for research. But we use a suction hose to excavate underwater, not a trowel. The hose sucks up the sediment covering the artifacts just like a vacuum cleaner. We have to go slowly to make sure nothing important gets sucked up by accident. Sometimes the sediment is loose enough that we can uncover the artifacts just using our fingers. Another big difference is the amount of time spent in excavation. On land, an archaeologist can stay at the dig all day and excavate as long as they want. But being underwater naturally limits the amount of time that can be spent working. How deep underwater the site is will limit the amount of time that can be spent excavating. This site was 100 feet underwater, and we could only excavate for about an hour or so in the morning and another hour again in the afternoon. The rest of the time is spent cleaning and recording artifacts, planning the next dive, and goofing off, resting and getting prepared. It may seem like underwater archaeology doesn't have much to do with Egypt. After all, the first thing you probably think of when you hear Egypt is a picture of the Great Pyramid surrounded by desert. But there were many Egyptian cities on the water, in the delta where the Nile River meets the Mediterranean Sea. The city of Heraklion, also known as Thonis in ancient Egyptian, was one of the main trading ports for ancient Egypt. The city was built on several islands and had canals running through it, like Venice. But there were several floods, a couple of earthquakes, and this city was finally abandoned when it started to sink into the sea. But while there were still people there, it might have looked something like this. There would have been ships sailing in and out constantly, and a lot of buying and selling going on land. And then it sank. In 1999, the city was rediscovered by a French archaeologist, and he and his team have been excavating it ever since then. So far, they have found statues of gods, temples, trade goods, lots of everyday artifacts. What they are finding now will help us understand more about the trade routes Egypt had with all the other ancient civilizations of the Mediterranean.